Hello and welcome to Travel through the Universe to another tier maker video. But before we are talking about the hardest commander key for Secret of the Oracle level, I have to make an update because it has been weeks, and yes, in this case, mostly technical difficulties, not that much, and I hope it's not a big deal, but maybe I have to buy another PC. I have no idea how long it will take, but most of the time I don't feel like making a video because there are so much problems or so many problems. I have no idea, something like that. And yeah, it's not that easy to make a video when you are a little bit upset, and yeah, I guess you can understand it. But yeah, finally another video, and you have an update what's going on and why there's also not a stream. But why there's not a stream is mostly because my internet sucks right now. It's horrible. I have just one day, I guess it was 1 or 2 days ago, where I could have streamed, but it holds just 1 or 2 hours and then went to bed. I have no idea what's wrong right now. It wasn't that bad a while, and yeah. That's it, the update, and we will start the list, of course, with the border village. I guess we can all safely say that it's really not that big of a deal. And I have to say, this is actually my personal list, and I will look at it from the hard mode perspective. So maybe that's why you cannot agree with me on this list, because on normal things can be a lot different. But yeah, the border village. I would say it's one of the easiest levels. So I would say it's a piece of cake. I mean, we can talk about it longer, but I guess there's nothing that much to talk about here. And yeah, I have no idea if you could say if it's that hard. I would argue it's not that big of a deal. So I guess piece of cake is very well fitting for that one. And I have no idea why I messed these two up from time to time. I guess this one is Cave of Descendants, but yes, Cave of Descendants, and yeah, Chasm of Chills. I have no idea. So Cave of Descendants, it's most of the part. The biggest issue, of course, Skypast, and the last part can a little bit difficult if you are not too familiar with the last stage where the mad mushrooms are. I would say because of the very end in the Sky Pass, you should be careful on this level. And Chasm of Chills or Chasm of Chills, I have no idea, correct me which one is right here. I would say because Alone of the Blue Eagle, this level should be considered. Be careful, my friend. It has a lot of secrets in it, but you don't necessarily have to take it. So I'm not really sure if I would go not that dangerous or be careful, my friend, because you can choose your own path. So if you go most ways, I would say definitely be careful. But if you go just the route with the platforms, you have to avoid just one Blue Eagle. And yeah, I would say it's not that dangerous most of the time. Crystallis, the world of Sky Pass, but mostly if you run it on pacifist mode. The entirety of this level is actually not that challenging. I would say, yeah, of course you have to be careful because there are also Blue Eagle, but is it really harder than Cave of Descendants? Yeah, mostly if you run it in pacifist mode, because the level is the RNG hell and pretty long. but yeah, if you run it normally or normal way, even on hard mode, I would say it's not that big of a deal. But because of Skypass and Blue Eagle, I would say you should still be careful. Yeah, be careful. Then we have Hillville, and Hillville, yeah, also one of the level where you have to be careful because of Skypass, but also be careful because of Mimrocks, and there's one jump with a Mad Mushroom that is a little bit harder. But if you know about Skypass and they're not that annoying in that level, and if you know about the Mimrocks, I would say it's not that dangerous. If there was a row between them, I would say it's right between those things. But yeah, I guess not that dangerous. Maybe, I have no idea. It's actually pretty hard to tell if you should be a little bit careful or it's not that dangerous. I mean, it has some tricky spots, so I would say be careful. Isle of Fire. Okay, we're talking about hard mode. If you wouldn't talk about hard mode, I would say it's very dangerous. But on hard mode, there are so many spots where you mostly are already dead. It's one of the hardest level in Commander Keen 4 in my opinion. But I'm not really sure. Maybe if there would be a row between those two, I would choose that. But I would say you are already dead is more fitting than it's very dangerous. But very dangerous is an understatement if you think about the second Bergloid, which lowers in the area where you have to pick up the gem. So yeah, it's one of the hardest level you can think of. Isle of Tar, it's a level which you have to be, I wouldn't say mostly patient, but there are areas where you just try to do the level. It's a pretty long level, but it's also a very good level. It has some spots which are difficult. The tar pit is already an issue by itself, mostly while you have to endure in this level. And the wormers are a little bit problematic, so is this enough to be careful? If I have to compare these kind of levels, I would say it's definitely be careful. Yes, live water oasis or backwater oasis. This level has just a problematic Skypass, and otherwise it's not that dangerous. I couldn't see why it should be higher in this list. Maybe it's even a piece of cake, but because of the bugs, the lags, I would say it's definitely in this row, not that dangerous. And then we have Miragia. I have no idea how to pronounce it really. If you play it the normal way, I would say be careful, my friend. But if you play it like me, I would say it's not that dangerous. Yeah, there are one or two jumps you can mess up, but it's actually not that big of a deal. But yeah, it's definitely not that dangerous. So, Pyramid of the Shadows. And if we look away from the good old days with pacifist running, I would say Pyramid of the Shadows, besides the Skypass, is actually not that hard. It's a pretty long level and you have to time some things right, but is this level really that hard? I would say no. I have to say, yeah, there are areas where you have to be careful because of Skypast, but that's actually it. I mean, I would argue it's enough. It's enough to have it here, but it's not enough to say it's very dangerous. And maybe if I look at this gap right here, I'm not really sure if Isle of Fire should be here just because of one Bergleut which is hard placed. But to be fair, there are two others which are problematic, so I'm not really sure. But Pyramid of the Forbidden, short work. You're already dead. It's one of the hardest Keen levels ever made, and most likely one of the hardest levels I will ever play in my life. So very fitting on this spot. Pyramid of the Ancient. No, that's not right. Pyramid of the Gnostican Ancients. I have no idea. Maybe it's right, maybe not. So, this pyramid is most of the parts not that hard. You can be unlucky in the end, and the beginning of the level with the darts, especially in hard, can be challenging. But yeah, is that enough to say that's very dangerous? I'm not sure. I checked this level in my mind. You have a shortcut in it, and besides Skypast, the dart thing is pretty horrible. But yeah, I wouldn't say that's very dangerous. It's more like here on the top of Be Careful. Yeah, I would say it's the top of Be Careful, and yeah, nothing else. Pirate of the Moon, yeah, it has some dangerous darts in it, I give it that, but yeah, even if you go the secret route, there's not that much which can stop you. The Arachnot in the last part of the level with all the licks, it has just one area which is dangerous, but that's not actually a big deal. I wouldn't say it's a piece of cake, but it's definitely not that dangerous. If I need to rearrange that, I would say Miragia is harder than that. I could see that's also the case. Yeah, maybe I would rearrange that at this place. And if I think about longer, I would say, yeah, Isle of Fire is very dangerous, but just because of this one Bergleut, I mean, with the second and third Bergleut you can actually wait a long time, and the first, yeah, it's a little bit RNG, but yeah, I'm not really sure, but very dangerous for sure, but you're already dead. I'm not that sure. San Diego has one area which is really hard. Especially all Arachnid areas are pretty hard. It is already very dangerous. The one area is if you have not enough ammunition or not that many ammunition, can be challenging. The one area with the Arachnid and the switch is also problematic. If you don't save, I would say it's harder than all these levels, but by far not as hard as Isle of Fire, but I would say very dangerous. Very dangerous. If I would say you are already dead is 10 points, and that would be 7 or around that, I would say Isle of Fire is 9 and San Diego is a 7. And then Slug Village, piece of cake. I mean, I could talk about it longer, but why should I? I mean, those are the beginner levels, so they are not that complicated. And yeah, oh my gosh, the name. I have no idea why I missed this name right now. Give me a moment. Slug Village. Oh my gosh, that's embarrassing right now. That's actually you can say I have it on my tongue, but I cannot point it out. But yeah, this level is actually, again, not that hard. You can shoot the lick in the beginning, and yeah, you have the 2 licks on the left side. But if you don't play pacifist, I wouldn't say that it's really dangerous. Is it a piece of cake? On easy and normal, yes, definitely. But on hard, maybe not that dangerous. But I would say if piece of cake would be 0 and not that dangerous 3, I would say yeah, it's a 2, so maybe it deserves its spot right here. But yeah, definitely not that hard. Maybe it would be more fitting in this row, but I would say it's better placed here. And still the name is missing. That's I have no idea. That's some moments I cannot explain. So, Well of Wishes, the last one, and because of some tricky spots on hard, I would say definitely you should be careful. I even would argue you should be more careful than with Pyramid of the Gnosis and Ancients, because they are pretty tricky spots, but they are not that dangerous. Especially if you are familiar with the controls, you should do it. And yeah, right now I have a problem to remember this level's name, but I am sure I will remember it after I finish this video. And that's it for today. I hope you had fun with it, and see you around.